If you can't answer this question, you need to watch this video. How many account opening workflows are your firm currently tracking, and do you even have an account workflow built out in your CRM? In today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can start effectively tracking how many account openings are happening at your firm. Now, we know a lot of financial advisors like yourself are wanting to see how many of these are happening throughout the year and maybe starting to track the output of your team. So stick around for this video and we're going to show you step by step on how to do that. Hi, my name is Matthew, and at Advisor Tech Partners, we help financial advisory firms just like yourself build out processes, workflows, and automations. If this is something that your firm can leverage, please feel free to schedule an intro call with us, and we'd love to discover those challenges that your firm is currently facing. So in our example today, we are on our workflows page, and we see that we have a couple of outstanding workflows, like some onboarding ones, like our intro meetings, as well as maybe just some additional other workflows. But we also have some completed workflows that we have just built out and we just completed pretty recently. So I'm going to show you in your CRM how you can start tracking those. And from our example, we have Jane Schmo, and then we also have Joe Schmo, and they both had some new client onboarding and new account opening workflows that were just launched and also completed. So let's go into your Redtail CRM now and really start to track how you can see those from the Reports tab. So the way that we're going to start generating these reports is by going to the Reports tab on the left-hand side, and then we are going to scroll all the way down until we see our Workflow Reports section. Now, under that, we'll have two options: report for both the just workflows that we're launching and then also the tasks within the workflows. We're going to go ahead and select the Workflow Report. So once I click on that, I now see I can filter, so I'll go ahead and start filtering out the different types of workflows that we have completed for the past, let's say, month. And I'm going to show you here how you can change this here. So in our case, we may want to see a quarterly number, so we can change this to this quarter. And below here, we're going to leave the contacts empty, and then we're going to go to the workflow name. So if we want to specifically start tracking the new client onboarding and account opening workflows like we were just showing on the previous page, we'll go ahead and do that. And then lastly, if you want to start pushing out any other filters, by all means, but realistically, your workflow name should be the most amount of filtering that you should be doing in this bottom section here. And then lastly, making sure that we check the status for complete, and then we'll go ahead and apply this filter. So now that we've just run this report, we now see that we have two different entries. So in our, again, first example, we had Joe and then we also had Jane, and we launched these workflows and completed them within a specific time frame. And again, our time frame that we're referencing is this past quarter. Now you may be asking yourself, well, how do I track who is actually doing these workflows? Well, in our case, the preset information that gets spit out in our example in the reports is the owner. Now, you may need to go back and actually adjust this because you may have some individual set as the owner of the workflow, but most of the times this should be kicked off by whoever is actually starting this process. So if you want to think about a client service associate internally at the firm, they should be the one that's actually updating and pushing out the start of this new account and onboarding workflow. So I'll show you what that looks like here, just so you can start tracking a little bit better as to who is actually completing the workflow and who's getting what done at the firm. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and go to our manage accounts, and we're going to edit that workflow just to make sure that it's set correctly. So after we click that, we're going to go under manage templates. We will click on workflow templates, and we see on the top we have our new client onboarding and account opening workflow. So I'm going to click on that, and on the left hand side I'm going to click the blue button on the top, edit. So once I click edit, I'm going to go ahead and change this to the creating user. Now again, this is something you may want to discuss with your team internally so you can start tracking who is actually getting these workflows done. So In our case, we want to make sure that the creating user, which typically at our firm is a CSA, is the one who's going to be the owner. So again, we can go back here and start tracking who is the actual owner of that workflow and who's getting it done. Now, your firm, you may have roles set up. So if you have a role set up, you may want to just select the CSA who is going to be assigned these steps. And once I went ahead and made those edits, again, going to creating user, I'll go ahead and save that workflow template. So now that in the future I can start tracking these workflows a little bit better and I can get more data out of my CRM. Hey, thanks for sticking around towards the end of the video. If you wouldn't mind, please feel free to subscribe to our channel, as we do push out a lot of content like this that is focused for financial advisory firms just like yourself who may be struggling through building out these processes, thinking about best practices, as we've seen a lot of firms struggle through these. So we just want to provide this information to you free of charge.